On the Wire, in association with Ladbrokes.
Yes, indeed, it is that time of the season again. It is Irish Guineas weekend, 3 days of fantastic racing. Mark Boylan is going to be there for the Irish field. He joins us, as well as Racing TV's Danny Archer. And we are sponsored by Ladbrokes today, so we have Nicola McGeady in the house. I'll start with you, Nikki. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Nikki is it? I hate Nikki, Johnny, but yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm good.
Well, you were better before I called you Nikki. How are you, Mark?
I'm grand. You can leave off Marky or anything like that. No, it's all good, Johnny. We're keeping straight.
How is Dan the man?
I'm good, Johnny. I'm a late addition. I think someone said they had to pull out, so they've drafted me in from Ibiza. So it's the first time I've ever been on the wire whilst being on holiday.
Are you actually in Ibiza?
I am, Johnny, yeah.
Have you found a bookmaker to lay a few bets on the car?
There was actually quite a nice bookie down the road, actually. So, yeah, it's a busy weekend of sports, so I might have to pop in there a couple of times if I can get a spare moment.
Yeah, we take for granted that essentially you're always available to work now, and every time I'm on holiday, I'm taking Zoom calls. I was on the Blasket Islands, a remote island that doesn't have electricity last year, and I was doing a Zoom call for racing. So that's just modern life. But let's get to straight into the action. I'm going to introduce the Ladbrokes bet offer here, which is a £5 matched bet for existing customers in the Republic of Ireland. So that's a €5 match bet for existing customers in the Republic of Ireland. And bet responsibly this weekend. There's so much going on. We have Limerick as well into all the British action and the Curragh as well. But let's start with Friday's action. And we're going to get straight into it here. So we have declarations at this stage for Friday and Saturday. And the big race, Friday's a little bit lower key, but I do find the undercards for these classic weekends can be pretty classy as well. But the race we're going to look at on Friday, and we're going to give a nap for each of the days as well, is the 8 o'clock, which is the Irish Stallion Farms EBF Habitat Handicap. And we're going to have a look back here on a really key piece of form. I think we had 4 runners in this race that was won by John Riggins on the 13th of May. John Riggins, who's going to emerge from the pack here and win. We have I'll scatter these horses. The runner-up Tau is on as well. Mark, this race is going to be key to the outcome of the 8 o'clock Friday.
Yeah, for sure, Johnny. John Riggins is one of these cliff horses for a long time for me, and I deserted him at the wrong hour here last time out. But look, he's probably a horse that is better than a mark in the 80s when all falls right. But still, my concern from here would be we're much better ground than was the case last time at Navan. He's generally been campaigned on ground with a bit of an ease. I'm here at Fairy House today at the Gorse Bridge Breeze Up Sales, and the sun is spitting the stones here. It's, on the ground seems to be dry, and you look at all the reports for tracks across Ireland, there's mentions of watering being monitored, etc. So look, I think that's going to be the biggest obstacle to victory for John Riggins if he can handle that bit of better ground. I'm not saying he can't, but it is a challenge. One that, to me anyway, that will definitely handle nice ground, would really, really love it. Doesn't always get it. His Dream Today of Aidan McGuinness's, I think that's got a big chance. This race it's actually, as you say, it's a competitive race. And last year we had a couple of smart horses finish down the field that are now group horses, Eris and Psyche and Moss Tucker. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a good piece of form, but this guy has a lot of back class Dream Today. 6 furlongs ideal, good ground ideal. And I don't mind the blow draw either. Last year, the first 2 home were drawn 4 and 7. I think this guy is installed too. So Aidan McGuinness in flying form as well. He's had 4 winners from his last 13 runners over the last 9 or 10 days. So he might be able to value each way potentially. But look, as you say, if John Riggins does take to the better ground, he's going to take a fair bit of stopping too.
Yeah, it's funny what you say there about John Riggins. I was exactly the same. I'd kind of effectively given up on him, and he duly did deliver the last day. That was a race in which Heavenly Power, yeah, that's just how it works. Heavenly Power, his stablemate, was actually favoured on that occasion. Again, though, you'd wonder with the ground, and I don't know what it's like in Ibiza, Danny, but it's hot in Dublin today. It's hot. It's going to be a challenge for the Curragh, I think, to keep the ground on the safe side, actually, with the weather we have. But what do you like here, Danny?
Well, I've spent all that money to go away on holiday, and the weather's better back home. I'm hearing we've had storms over here, but Hurricane Ivor. I think the piece of form I like is Hurricane Ivor beat Swift Flight back on April the 16th at the Curragh. Now the problem with both of these, a bit like what Marcus suggested, is they might be better with a bit of cut in the ground. But Hurricane Ivor, he's a son of Ivorwood. He won at Newbury when trained by William Haggis on good ground, so I'm not too concerned. And he was pitched back into listed company last time out, and I just think drop back here into handicap company, he'd be the one I'd be with despite carrying a bit of weight. Whilst the only concern I'd have with Swift Flight is, you would know better than me, but Ken Condon's yard don't really seem to be firing yet. 2 from 25, I think the record in 2023. But I think that's a decent bit of form, so I'll be sticking with those 2 against the field.
So yeah, we're going to delve now into Saturday's action. But before all of that, we're going to get naps from everyone, and we will start on Friday with you, Mark.
In the last race, hopefully we'll get out on good terms and set us up for the weekend. Face the Puck Out is an old favourite of mine for Michael O'Callaghan. Runs in the 8:30. This horse has improved leaps and bounds from where it had been going in terms of direction. Once was pretty useful, lost its way, and really came back last season. I think he's 24 pounds higher than he was when he first returned last season. But having said that, I was concerned last time at Naas last weekend that the ground was going to be too quick for him. He's now quashed that fear for me, and he looks to have returned in absolutely really, really good nick. And up to a mile, the way he came home last time at Naas wouldn't discourage you whatsoever. No, I think he's going to go really, really close. It's a slight drop in class as well. Last time he was within 3/4 of a length of what I consider a really, really progressive handicapper in Blues Emperor for Johnny Murtagh. This time he's nearly top rated in this race. He's close to the head of the weight. So face the Puck Out for Colin Keane and Michael O'Callaghan, hopefully to get us out in a good note in the 8:30.
Yeah, if you're looking at the bottom of the screen, you will see that Nikki and I are clashing on the 6 o'clock. Nicola, what is your selection?
Yeah, listen, it is a really tough card tomorrow, Johnny. But yeah, in the fillies handicap at 6 o'clock, Clonmackin is the one that kind of jumps out for me. She ran Breeders' Cup winner Victoria Road to a half a length last season. Now she was unable, to show her best on the softer going at the Curragh in October or in the Group 3 Cornell's Court Stakes last time, but then won at Dundalk in April, showing she has trained on. She's obviously back on good ground and comes from Johnny Murth's yard, who are generally, running well right now. Although I can't imagine she will be favoured, as you do have Jessie's runner, who has won her last two as well. But yeah, Clonmackin for me.
Yeah, and it is Jessie's runner for me, Snowcap. She is by Churchill out of a half sister to Snow Fairy. I don't think the dam herself did an awful lot, but I love the way she won the last day. She went from sort of being squeezed along to absolutely pulling away. Jessie's flying it. And yeah, I think Nikki and I, two good selections there.
On the Wire, in association with Ladbrokes.
We're joined now by Aidan O'Brien. You will see he's actually in front of the house in Ballydoyle. Aidan, this is a brilliant weekend. I am struck by the fact that you only have one runner on Friday, which is remarkable in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose the only race really suited us on Friday, Johnny, really. And I suppose that's just the way it was really for the card, really.
Tell us about your horse on Friday, Sub-Zero. He's a couple of nice runs, and obviously a lot of people will be backing him on the basis that he's your runner on Friday.
Yeah, listen, he's a grand horse. His last run was nice, and he had a nice run before that. Obviously, he's Galileo, but 7 furlongs seems to be a good trip for him. We were very happy with the last, and he was just beaten by, I think, a nice horse of Johnny Murphy's at Leopardstown.
We're just talking, Aidan. Danny Archer, who is also on the call, is in Ibiza, but you're in a place every bit as nice in Ballydoyle. But what's your take on the ground tomorrow? What it'll be like, because it is very warm at the moment.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's going to be safe, good to firm ground. I'd imagine Thor is a beautiful track, and Brendan and everyone, they always Brian and all his team always get it right. Richie, they have a great team there, people, and it's usually very safe ground, and I'd imagine that's what's going to be. It's going to be beautiful weather, I think, and it's isn't it brilliant to have that kind of ground?
Absolutely. Let's go straight into the Tattersalls Irish 2000 Guineas. This is a race, the feature race at 3:40 on Saturday. Race test will be shown on Racing TV, and we can't wait for it. And we're going to have a look back at the Guineas here at Newmarket. And I guess, Aidan, you're the place to start, because it was a bit of an off day for you two horses, but as you pointed out afterwards, they had excuses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a bit of a mess for us, I suppose. Little Big Bear jumped forward, and there wasn't a lot of pace on, and I think the horse that finished third in the Guineas, or the second in the Guineas, ran straight into the back of him after a short time, and then he knocked over Augustus Rodan, and listen, it was just a bit of an event for us, really. Our travel plans got changed a couple of days before, and combination, the ground was very soft. A combination of a lot of things just didn't work today. It was just one of those days, really.
We got to get you while you're there. How is Augusto Rodan?
Good. Yeah, he seems good. We're very happy with him since then. Everything has went really well, and couldn't be happier at the moment.
Yeah, that's exciting. Mark, talk to me here. We've the second and third coming to the Curragh, which is fantastic for the race, and also obviously the supplement and adding to the intrigue of it.
Big time, Johnny. You know, look, I disappointed that Alriff isn't here, because to me he would have been very, very hard to beat, and it seems to be a small little niggle that's held him up, and hopefully we'll see him back again in no time. But it's a very open look to it, I suppose. To me, the 2,000 guineas at Newmarket, when you had some of the big guns such as Augusta Dan, Little Big Bear, not running up to scratch, I'm just not totally convinced that it's a high level of form. But looking at this race and treating it on its own merits, I'm not so sure it's all that deeper either. So I think that this hinges to me on whether Royal Scotsman can reproduce that run, and is the same horse turning out later this month after a big effort like that, because it didn't go to plan for him either. He's had an unclear run through, and he's probably come on the wrong side of the track relative to where Chaldine was. I think if he produces the same performance, he's going to be very hard to beat. But I'd be interested to hear what Aidan has to say on Paddington, because he's trying to do what Autad did a few years ago in terms of going Madrid to Tetrarch. Has he been showing you those sort of leaps forward at home as he's progressed through the spring, Aidan?
Yeah, no, everything has been good with him. Obviously, he's only had the 2 runs this year. Last year he went to Ascot and he ran first time out, and he was very green, and we were a bit disappointed with him, and we gave him a bit of time. Then he came back and won very nice at the Cur. I think the ground might have been on the easy side the day he won. Then obviously he won very easily the Madrid, I think in Naas on easy ground again, and then he obviously won the Tetrarch, and I think that was probably an easy ground as well. So it's going to be interesting. This is his first time back on this type of ground. We're very happy with everything he's done since, and everything has went smooth since, and all his works, and obviously his races were just a nice build up to the Guineas. So it's going to be interesting to see.
He's a beautiful looking horse, Aidan.
He's fine, big, scopy, good looking horse. Absolutely, and he travels usually with plenty pace, and but we're learning about him all the time, I think.
What about your other two then, Cairo and Age of Kings?
Yeah, Cairo loved the ground. He's in good shape. He hasn't ran, I think, since Dubai. Triple suit him well. A very tough, hardy horse, and looking forward to seeing what he's going to do on that ground. Age of Kings is his first run back, obviously, of the year, so we're hoping that he'll run a nice race, and hopefully slot him to some of the race in Ascot after that.
Lovely. And Nicola, we have a Proud and Regal as well, finishing third in a Derby trial. This race has so much going for it. So much depth to it. 11 different sponsors, 11 different stallions for the 11 horses, which to me is absolutely staggering.
Yeah, it's such an intriguing looking race, and that's a really good stat, Johnny. Of course, Royal Scotsman's adding that real bit of spice to the race and is the 15-8 favourite, followed by High Royal at 4-1 and Paddington at 5-1. You've got Proud and Regal in there at 11-2. We are seeing support for Cairo, who's been backed into 12-1 since we've gone back up with it. Obviously, Paddington spearheads Aidan, your team there, but obviously Cairo was beaten on the dirt, but showed really smart form as a 2-year-old. So I guess punters are trying to find a bit of value. But I mean, I think, if you look at all the stats in the past, all signs points towards Royal Scotsman. He's going to be hard to beat. Fitness, not coming fresh, success in groups. And of course, the draw will be very important as well. Ideally, you want to be drawn and stalled 3 or lower. So when you do consider everything, it's hard to look past Royal Scotsman. He stays the trip. He's rated 118. The ground's going to suit. He won at group level. And he's very popular into 15-8 from 11-4. I also think the Roger Varian horse, Charon's going to be interesting, who came second, to the French 2000 Guineas, runner-up Isaac Shelby in the Greenham. They want to roll the dice again with him after things didn't quite go to plan in Newmarket. And he's going to come here and see how things go. So that's going to be an interesting one as well at 20-1.
What do you make of it, Danny?
It's a tricky one from the British point of view, I think, Johnny, because obviously Royal Scotsman was only supplemented late. I thought they were going to go to Ascot, but obviously I think they've seen that it maybe not be the strongest of classics. They've decided to roll the dice. I think the big thing with Royal Scotsman is Jamie Spencer on board. Jim Crowley not on board this time around. They've decided to go back to a tried and tested method, the Coles, the Spencers and the Hayes over the years. And yes, he was unlucky at Newmarket, but my only concern is whether he always is a bit unlucky. He was unlucky when he was second to Chaldean at Newmarket at the back end of last season. Is he one of those who might just not get his day in the sun? I can't have High Royale at the price, given he was 125 for the Guineas and now he's 9-2. I do like Paddington. I like both of Aidan's. I think Cairo, I was at Aidan when Cairo disappointed in the UAE Derby, but did he just not take to the track at all on that occasion, Aidan?
Yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't lose any weight. So obviously, when he got the kickback straight away, he's just shut down, we think. Usually, if a horse, if that happens, that's what usually happens. So we think that was the reason.
Lovely stuff.
It's a big
Go
ask,
ahead.
Johnny, for him to come back, Cara. But I think just at the prices, I'd probably be with Aidan's pair, Paddington and Cara.
What was your best winner of the Guineas, Aidan?
Johnny here.
This is a list now.
I can't even remember one of them. So you got to call out some of them. I suppose. Listen, did Rocket Gibraltar win the Guineas?
He did.
Yeah. So sure. What else? It's a long time ago, Johnny. I think, isn't it? So I listen. It's I suppose he was probably one of the most impressive, was he? I think.
Special horse. You also had the likes of, we'll say, Churchill, Glen Eagles, Henry the Navigator, Master Craftsman, some right good horses.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
He's only won it 11 times. You're asking a hard question, Johnny.
That's a long time ago, all those races. So there we go. Yeah. So
well. A race that isn't a long time ago is the Marble Hill, Aidan. I have to say, you have two runners here. Have to say, I love the run of Paddington, or rather of Democracy, first time out. You mentioned he was a bit green when he sort of got a squeeze late on, but different ground tomorrow.
Yeah, that it will be interesting. Is right. He's a no nay never, and they do handle a dig in the ground, and he did as well when he won at the Curragh. So he's a high enough actioned horse, but he does travel with plenty of speed. But we're going to learn a lot about him as well for Ascot. Everything has went well with him since. He's a good strong traveller, and did the same at the Curragh. But when Wayne dropped him, he just took a little bit of time to get going. But then going to the line, he was well on top. So we're going to learn a lot about him as well, I think, tomorrow, Johnny. Yes.
And your other run on the race quite similar in the sense that again, it's a no nay never horse, His Majesty, and also won first time out of the Curragh on softish.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. And he's probably a lazy horse at home, so it's going to be interesting when obviously when they work together during the week. Ryan's horse came out on top as well. So, but maybe this horse keeps a bit for when he goes racing, So it will be interesting. We're going to find out about faster ground for him as well, and we're going to find out going up to 6 furlongs. So where it was 5 furlongs when he won, So it's going to tell us a lot for Ascot going forward. But at home, Ryan's horse is a little bit ahead of him. But it was a little bit like that the last day. That horse ran as well. So maybe he does keep a bit.
That's a fascinating insight. And this race, Danny, unlike the Guineas, we've two stallions strongly represented, No Nay Never and Bungle in the Jungle. What do you make of it?
I like it both of Aidan's too, but I'm like one aside by Night of Thunder. I thought Noche Magica was very impressive. I know Aidan put up Alabama as one to follow this year, but he beat him out of sight really at Cork on his first start, and I thought that was deeply impressive. Paddy Toomey's got his team in good form. I think you've got to deeply respect both of Aidan's, and also give me the Beat Boys, who stayed on really strongly to score for Jesse Harrington last time out. But I thought Noche Magica impressed me deeply on that occasion and gets my vote.
And you, Mark?
I'm going to side as out Nacho Magica, albeit I don't think, I'm sure Aidan might talks about it with Alabama, but he just looked really green on the day, and I wouldn't be taking that run literally as a view of his ability. But I thought the winner was really, really excellent. Time form of had him down as the 6th best 2-year-old performance of the season on that. And, albeit it one kind of variable to deal with, I think coming into last week, 18 of the 25 meetings, I saw it quoted somewhere, were run on ground with soft in the description or soft or worse. So, there is a chance that as we get onto better ground, we could see form transform and different things adjust in that way. But I just thought Nacho Magica, even the market really screamed in his favour that day. And given there had been, a lot of big reputations heading into that maiden at Cork, I thought that was telling. And, Paddy Toomey on the winners this week. And I can see Nacho Magica be very, very hard to beat, I think.
Yeah, briefly, Aidan, have you a plan with Alabama? Another No Nay Never.
Yeah, no, he came back flat from Cork, and he had a bit of a temperature the next day. So we put down that it was a good enough reason for his flat run. We thought he was much better than that. He's working very well again. He was nearly going to the maiden this week, but we decided to give him another week. So he'll probably appear shortly again. So Cork was soft ground, and maybe the ground was too soft for him, and maybe he was a little bit flat, and a whole lot of things combined together for his disappointing run. But like you said, the winner was very impressive that day, and he did handle soft ground well. So it's going to be interesting. But all those farm lines is going to be totally different ground, and we're going to learn an awful lot more. And it's great to be learning it before we go to Ascot, because what usually happens here, we're racing on soft ground before Ascot, and then we go to Ascot and reality kicks in. So we're going to find out a lot with them all, I think.
100%. We'll have a brief look now at the Greenland Stakes. Aidan doesn't have a runner in this, but I suppose the eye-catching riding book in here is Ryan Moore riding for Charles Hills on Garris Mark.
Yeah, Johnny, look, I think the British sprinters are, in general at the moment, I think they're ahead of us. I really hope that the Big Bear can go and put on a show for Ireland this weekend across at Haydock, because we need depth in that division, I think. And Ladies Church was impressive for Johnny last weekend, but I think bar that, we're a little light on the ground in terms of sprinters. And this race has been good for British visitors in the past too. I think Garris, I'd imagine is going to be favoured, but Art Power has a very, very good record here. More than a title to come on for his first run of the season at York. Given his record in coming over to Ireland, I could easily see this has been the target. One run, blow away the cobwebs, sharpen up, and have a real cut at this 6 furlongs, his trip as well. So I'd nearly give Art Power the vote, Johnny, but be interested to see just how dry the ground is the weekend before fully nailing the colours to the mast.
Strong representation for Britain here, Danny.
Yeah, Garris did it well at Newmarket. Obviously, the form's taken a boost with, sadly, the late, great Creative Force winning before his untimely demise. And, of course, the second Comanche Falls ran well behind Azure Blue as well. So the form does have a good, strong look to it. Twilight Jet's one I'd be interested in terms of Michael O'Callaghan. I mean, he won well on his return to action last term. Is he one horse that they can get fit that first time out? And that's where he shows his best form. But probably like Mark, I like Art Power. Got a decent record overall in Ireland. I think he's another one who maybe comes on for his first start of the season. And he's won at the Curragh on good ground before. To me, his team were in okay form. So I thought I would side with him over Garris.
Before we get to the naps, Aidan, I have to ask you about Little Big Bear. Mark mentioned him here. Obviously, you're going over to Haydock. It's. I guess we're looking at him as a sprinter going forward now, are we?
I think so. Well, we knew we'd only going to get the one chance in Newmarket to see, and listen, there was combination of stuff we felt didn't work, but he showed all the speed, and we didn't have much time to be chopping and changing anymore. So I had it in my head that we go to the Greenlands, but obviously I had forgot that it was a 4-year-old and up. So, and obviously that was in our head to getting a run into him before the Commonwealth back over 6. We're very happy with him. He's done a couple of sharp bits, and we've been very happy with what we saw. Like, he will progress because it's his first time back over 6, but to go to Ascot, to be fair to him, we thought it was the right thing to do. We're very happy with him. We're looking forward to seeing him run, and like, he is a horse with an awful lot of natural speed, so it's going to be interesting.
Who's this jockey you've booked, El Dottore?
I don't know, Johnny. The lads booked him.
I remember him winning on the Quirky Scorpion back in the day for you, and that's a long, long time ago, and you've had a lot of Guineas winners in the meantime.
That's right.
Right, let's get naps for Saturday, starting with you, Mark.
I'll go Noche Magica in the Marble Hill, the 155.
I will go Safe Cracker in the 450. Very, very consistent horse. What are you with, Nick?
I'm definitely sticking with Royal Scotsman, ticking all the boxes for me in the big one. I think it'll be hard to beat.
Okay, we're moving on now to Sunday, and the race again that Aidan has an exceptional record in is the Tattersalls Gold Cup. The proviso here is that we don't actually know what's running, but Aidan, the talk that Vadini's going to come over and be supplemented, this is going to be a brilliant renewal of the race.
Oh yeah, which is great, and listen, it looks, is Michael Stout's horse there, and listen, they're all there, which is great, and that's what we want. For Irish racing, that's very important, and it looks, all the racing looks very, very competitive this weekend, and listen, that's brilliant, really. And hopefully Vadini will come, because that's what we need: win, lose or draw, and like, you can't win every day. So we hope that he does come.
Going to have a look back on Luxembourg winning the Irish Champion Stakes last year. This was a phenomenal training performance, phenomenal riding performance. Will he likely run on Sunday, Aidan? The
plan is to run, Johnny. Yeah, no, Ryan gave him a great ride on the day, and Killian and Andrew and everyone, and Jamie, I think at the time had him in great order. Yeah, no, the plan is to run. We're looking forward to him running. Everything has went well with him since the last day, and really looking forward to him running now.
And is he? You seemed happy enough with the comeback run as well.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mess, really. Joseph's horse was very good. Declan gave him a great ride. Joseph had him in great order, and it was just a steadied up race, and he just got trapped back a little bit, and he was just a little bit at the mercy of the race, and that can happen sometimes, and that's the way it was. And it was only a trial, so it didn't matter really. Wayne looked after him, but we were very happy with his run now. So it'll be probably a different race, I'd imagine, on Sunday.
We can have a look back at Vadini winning the Eclipse at Sandown last season, but whilst we look at that, Aidan, will Point Lonsdale run as well, do you think?
No, he's going to go to, it looks like at the moment, going to go to the Coronation. He's in good form, and I think that's where he's going to go.
Yeah, this was a brilliant race last year, Mark. It was really one of the races of the year, and Vedini swooping the outside, and a pointer, and maybe in itself that Aidan is just going to be represented by Luxembourg here.
Look, I can't wait to see this horse again, and we're going to get decent ground like we got here at Sandown on this day when he was so impressive. It was his turn of foot that won the race, and Churchill at the moment, his sire, is having an unbelievable run too. Things have really, really started to click for him in recent weeks and months. But Luxembourg, I'm far from giving up on him. But my slight concern coming into it would be just, is the pace going to be strong enough to see him at his best? Because I thought he was when he won there as champion, we had Stone Age going out in front, we had Broome sitting in behind. It was really honest all the way, and I think you see the best of Luxembourg when it's absolutely honest and relentless, and he really shines. I just wonder here, could it be slightly tactical? Pisbadil could go forward. Bay Bridge will be sitting close to them probably. But just if it did turn into a race where emphasis was on speed to a degree, Vedini's turn of foot could be key here. I really, really think he's a brilliant addition to the race, and I think he's probably the one to beat. For all that, I really hope that we get these top horses coming to the Boyle. It's exciting to have some of the best middle distance horses in Europe coming to the car this weekend. So I'd encourage anyone that isn't going to be sitting watching on racing TV to get in your car, get in your bike, and come to County Kildare. It'd be great to see you.
And it is Aidan great having the French over, isn't it?
Oh no, absolutely. Everything Mark said is 100%, and I think that's it exactly. And that could happen. It could become tactical, because I don't think any of those horses I don't think any of them will want to go on. So it could be very tactical, and it could suit a horse that will quicken. And Mark was right. The Champion Stakes was a solid 1.25 mile, strongly run race. And listen, it's our horse's second run of the season, and we didn't want to put his head into the oven yet. But he's a big, straightforward horse. But hopefully Vedini will come, and it probably will suit him if he does come.
And Danny, just some of the winners of this race, you go back to Grey Swallow, Hurricane Run, Fame and Glory, even in more recent times, Al Kazim. But this looks a brilliant renewal to me, Dan.
Yeah, strength in depth all over, Johnny. I think Mark's made a good summation of most of them, really. I was at Newmarket when Mark was second to Ariel on his return, and he looked quite big. I think he will probably come on for that run for him, Burrows. I wouldn't put you off him, because despite having winning form on a softer surface, he also has plenty of smart successes on good ground. So he's another one I wouldn't fail to mention. And I think it could turn into a bit of a pace race. Bay Bridge is the concern for him, that if they really did turn it on late, could he be able to show the same turn of foot as a Vedini? So I think with that in mind, I'm probably in agreement with Mark that Vedani's an interesting runner. I think it's fascinating they've decided to come here. I don't think this was the plan whatsoever. They had it all mapped out towards the Arc, and this has been a late addition to their schedule. So he's a fascinating runner. But Luxembourg ran better, I think, than the bare results suggest last time out, as Aidan's already alluded to. So yeah, it's a stacked Group 1, which is what you want to see, Johnny.
Absolutely, Dan. This is racing at its best at a world-class racetrack. Older horses against younger horses, over a mile and two. French, UK, and Irish interest. Absolutely fascinating. The 350 is the Tattersalls Irish 1000 Guineas. We're going to just hear now from Dermot Weld. He obviously is represented likely by the hot favourite Tahira, but he's going to leave it to the last moment in terms of who he declares.
I gather about the two Aga Khan fillies' participation in the Guineas. Is that right?
Yeah, we make a firm decision on Friday. At the moment, both fillies are likely to run. I'd have to say that now. But just as I said, declarations Friday, we'll make a decision definitely Friday morning. See how they both are. See, that's it.
Both Tahira and Tarawa ran on the same day, of course, but Tahira had the travelling to do. Have their routines differed much in the intervening period?
I suppose they have, yes, they have different slightly, because having to do the travelling there and back for Newmarket, it takes a little bit out of them. And Tahira did lose her, a fair bit of weight. And that'd be my concern. I'd love another week. That's exactly it. But anyway, the race comes when it does. And I'm pleased with her. And as of now, she runs.
And Dermot, no Mauge in the field this time around, but the 5-day entries came through today. Do you think it's stacking up to be a pretty fair renewal?
It'll be a very good renewal of the race. No, there's some nice fillies in this race. There's progressive fillies in the race. And I'm sure Meditate will be a better filly and big challenge.
Yeah, well, that's actually a beautiful way for Dermot in that conversation with Gary O'Brien at Goran, because Meditate likely reopposes Aidan.
I suppose the ground was soft in Newmarket, and it was her first run back and a whole lot of stuff. But we were very happy with her run in Newmarket. She finished off very well. We think everything has went well with her sense. Brett has been very happy. Wayne rides her on her work, and Jamie. Everyone is very happy with her sense. So we would think and hope that she's going to progress plenty from there.
That's interesting, Mark, because I suppose on paper it is hard to see a reverse in the form with what is a very, very good favourite.
She is a very good favourite. Look, maybe I'm getting picky with her here, but I thought she was a higher class filly than Maude. Maybe experience is just what counts so much in that finish, but I was slightly disappointed she just wasn't able to edge ahead. I didn't think if they kept running for another half furlong, she would have got back in front for all she was carried across the track. Maybe that'll put hairs in her chest and we'll see a more battle-hardened version of her here. I'm not suggesting she shirked it by any means, but I just thought that, resolution, the winner was more resolute. Interested here if Aidan is Never Ending Story a possible runner here. Are you likely to run her?
No, she's going to go to the French Oaks, Mark. That's the plan. We'd probably run Jackie O and Dower House. I think they're the three that we were thinking of running.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
go ahead, Mark.
Go on, Johnny. Sorry, go. No, look, I'd be keen to give Never Ending Story another go wherever she turns up next. I thought that was slightly tactical last time in France, and she wasn't beaten all that far. So, but in regards to this, to hear if we see this sort of explosive performance that was in the mile there last season, she's going to be very difficult to beat. And I don't mean to be giving you an obvious one here with favourites, but she is what she is. She's very, very classy.
She's going to be short, Nicola.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously with that news, Aidan will probably be shorter even more so. Well, Tahira is 4-7, and obviously was a close runner-up in the Newmarket version. And obviously Welch just said, the lack of runs probably cost her the race at Newmarket. But yeah, very short, and probably punters will be looking for a bit of value, including Meditate, who we have in there at 4-1. Obviously, Aidan, if you win, it'll be your 11th time winning the race. And the fact that, Connection said they wanted to supplement Jackie O for the race, it certainly put her on my radar and probably will be my nap of the day. So Jackie O's in there at 9-1. But again, following that news, Aidan will probably shorten up when this is played out.
Yeah, Aidan, Jackie O's pedigree is to die for, really.
Yeah, we went to, she won her maiden nicely at Naas, and then we went to Navan to see whether she was going to be an Oaks filly or a Guineas filly, and we said if she got beaten Navan, we go back to the Irish Guineas, and if she didn't, she'd go to the Epsom Oaks. We can still go to the Oaks after it. I think her brother didn't stay. Her brother was a miler, so there's every chance. She's come out of Navan very well and is working very nice, so it's going to be interesting.
Danny, last word to you on the Guineas.
Tahira is an interesting one in terms of what Dermot Weld had to say there, actually, Johnny, because after the race at Newmarket, he said in the enclosure that he needed another couple of weeks before the 1,000 guineas. He would like to have got a trial into her, but he lamented the soft ground across Ireland at that stage, which kind of stopped him getting a run in, which I thought was interesting, given she'd obviously won on soft ground at the back end of last season. But I think on all known form, I know what Mark says, you don't get many who win twice at a Dubai Carnival and then go on to win a 1,000 guineas. But I still thought it was a fine run in defeat, given she probably could have needed one or two more weeks. I think stripping fitter here, she's the one to beat. And make sure if Tarara doesn't run, put her in your racing TV trackers, because she ran an absolute stormer. She met more trouble than me in an Ibiza nightclub, Johnny, when second last time out of Leopardstown. She'll come on a ton for that. And I'd be quite disappointed if they run here, because I think she's got a big prize in her herself. And for Jackie O fans, if you're a Jacqueline Quest fan, all those years ago, the heartbreak of that defeat, you'll be hoping Jackie O can maybe get one back for the progeny.
Absolutely, and you can celebrate by meeting Danny and Ibiza. We're going to let Aidan go now. And Aidan, it's been brilliant having you on. The last question I'll ask you, anything else look out for the weekend? These are great weekends, the best racetrack in Ireland, arguably. You have a lot of nice kind of maidens as well, and a couple in the handicaps.
Johnny, now you're putting me on the spot again. Sorry. Let me think. No, so I suppose the main ones
in the classics.
Yeah, in the classics, yeah, and then nice. The horse runs in the maiden on Saturday is a nice horse. So, yeah, he got beat, but he's a nice colt.
Is that unquestionable, Aidan?
Yes, Mark. Yes.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah. Aidan, it's been brilliant having you on, and we'll let you back to the lovely sunny day that you have in Ballydoyle. We wish you the very best this weekend.
Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Good
Aidan.
luck, Aidan.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
That was the legendary Aidan O'Brien checking in from Sunkist Tipperary, or Sunkist County Tipperary. We're going to also just note here before we get the naps that Ladbrokes has an offer for new customers. This is a €30 match bet, Nicola.
Yeah, new customer offer, a match bet up to €30. Just scan the QR code there on the screen and sign up. Simple as that.
Yeah, Aidan in great form, if that's a pointer to how his horse are going to get on this weekend. And before we get
He looked
the...
so relaxed, didn't he, Johnny? I've never
he's
seen
so
him
relaxed.
that relaxed.
So relaxed. He
Like,
just looked...
chilled out.
He looked a pina colada short of being on holiday. But
Yeah, he looked
speaking
like
of
he
that,
was in
Danny...
a dance.
I'll go and get him one. I'll go down to the bar quickly.
Danny is... I mean, Danny looks like a man who is itching to get back to the bar. Danny, what are you looking forward to on the Sunday?
I think away from the Guineas, the Gallinule looks pretty ultra competitive, but I think for me it's all about that Tattersalls Gold Cup. That's the sort of race that, you know, from our point of view on racing TV, from a social side as well, the amount of people who will interact with content regarding some of the big runners in that. It's a big weekend for us, and yeah, looking forward to that immensely. And then obviously the roadshow rolls on to Epsom. It never stops on racing TV, Johnny.
It never stops in racing TV. I'll be in Limerick on Friday on that note. I think we might have footage here of Piz Badil. I'm going to put him up as a sporting sort of nap on the Sunday. He's going to run in, to be fair, it's an amazing renewal of the Tattersalls Gold Cup. But Piz Badil is my nap for Aidan O'Brien. Mark, you're gone with Vedini, taking him on.
I hate to take you on, Johnny. You know, listen, it never usually ends pretty for either of us, probably when it goes like that, judging punches down. But no, look at... I do think Vedini is going to be a class apart. I do have time for Piz Badil, but I just think you're dealing with one of the world's best middle distance horses here, and I hope he puts on a show.
Nicola?
Yeah, and just on that note, actually, Vedini's around the 6-4 mark, but Piz Badil kind of tissue price of around 25-1. So that would be a very nice one to land for you, Johnny. I'm going to stick with the Irish 1000 Guineas. It was really interesting listening to Aidan there, but yeah, Jackie O for me. Obviously, favourite will be hard to beat, but with the connections supplementing her, I think there could be value had at 9-1.
You won't be at the Curragh. You have the small matter of looking after a couple of twins.
I mean, I could bring the twins to the Curragh, but I'm not sure it will be their scene. Who knows?
What would you do, Danny?
Would you be on hand to give me a break and do a bit of babysitting?
Absolutely. I'm major babysitting with a capital B. Danny, what would you do with the twins?
Oh, is there not a little, you know, could you not give them to the hubby for the day, Nicola, and you can go out, have a couple of glasses of Prosecco and enjoy yourself?
He's an odds compiler, so he'll be busy as well.
Oh, never mind then. Well,
Danny will mind him and I beat it for you.
Yeah, why not? Why not? It's an adults only, but I'll try my best.
Aidan will mind them under that umbrella, I think, the way things are going. Yeah, so it is time to wrap up the show. Just a couple of other messages for you. Do gamble responsibly this weekend. There's a lot of racing going on. There's no need to be rushing into the next race if you don't fancy anything. Gamble responsibly. Loads of races at the Curragh, all on Racing TV. Watch every race exclusively on the channel expert team throughout the meeting, with Gary O'Brien presenting all 3 days, joined by Jane Mangan, Lisa O'Neill and Ruby Walsh. Dedicated coverage available on Racing TV Extra. And a reminder that if viewers in the Republic of Ireland want to take advantage of the Ladbrokes offer, they can just roll back in the video and scan the QR code or follow the link in the show description. Very briefly, Mark, last word to you, because the Curragh, I love going racing at the Curragh, and this is a fantastic weekend racing, particularly Sunday nearly.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Johnny. Sunday, I've always nearly, back down the years before I was working, I would love to watch Saturday at home, get warmed up for it and go up on the Sunday, and you get the benefit of 2 Group 1s on the day. Look, I hope to get a crowd there. They've got the weather, so they'll have every chance in that regard. I love the flash. I don't have anything against National Hunt at all. I absolutely love that too. But I think this is just as we're beginning to take on, and particularly as I said, when the ground is just beginning to change, it just creates that air of, you could get a bit of value at the prices hopefully this weekend if you're bearing that in mind as a factor. So, will we see you there?
Yeah, I'm hoping to go Sunday, yeah, so can't wait. Brilliant. And we will thank Mark from the Irish Field, Nicola from our sponsor Ladbrokes. Really thankful not only to Aidan O'Brien for coming in like that, but also Danny Archer, who is in Ibiza. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed that, and we shall be back soon.
Cheers, guys.
On the Wire, in association with Ladbrokes.
Subscribe to Racing TV's YouTube channel now to watch more great races like this.